Hey, this is Keith from Save the Rust, and today we're in Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada with Elias Klein.
This is a 97-inch cone shovel that I've been putting together for the last couple of years. A guy out of Weyburn by the name of Good Guys Coating did the powder coating on this tank and fender. It's a little dusty now, but anyways, the glossiest powder coating I've ever seen myself.
The pipes, I love the pipes. So tell me about those pipes.
Yeah, the pipes I made probably a year ago. They were plated by Alberta Platers a while back. I guess the key is to line them with barbecue paint and they won't turn blue. That's what I was told to do. So I made these. I'm going to make a couple more sets in this upcoming year, probably into the spring. And I made the oil tank. And a lot of the parts in here just kind of came from friends of ours, like BNC Cycles made the seat, Hog Supply cast these, made the bars. And let's see, all the other kind of little in-between fab work is done by myself here. There's nothing too crazy on it, but it's just kind of a good bike built to ride, and 97-inch should get you there pretty quick. And
you're a welder by trade?
Yeah, so I guess making the pipes came a little easy.
Yeah.
This motor's kind of cool though. It has 3 and 13/16 for truck cylinders.
Oh yeah.
With a Lineweber J5 cam. Maybe it's J3, but it should move pretty good. It's got 80-inch flywheels, and then the 3 and 13/16 spore takes it to 97-inch.
Nice.
So, yeah.
And you got MIG controls on it?
Yeah, just an FX control there. And then, as once we come to the other side, you can see that I made a mid shift and did a different oil drains into the heads to save blowing head gaskets out of it too much.
And what kind of finishes on these lower legs?
Let's call it anodized.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure.
Because it's not quite aluminum, and the same as the trees, I guess, right?
Yeah, those came out of cam loops. And they went on this one.
Perfect. Yeah, let's take a look at the other side of this bike. So on this side, you also have the shifter.
Yeah, I made this MIG control to kind of match the other side and used a Springer fork brake shackle.
Oh,
that's the proper name. It was wrecked anyway, so I kind of wrecked it a little more. And now it's a shifter.
Nice.
Yeah, it kind of mounts up the case and the transmission there. And then because these are such big bore cylinder, the oil passageway is so close to the head gasket. So I run head gaskets without the oil passageway, and then put in these oil drains here that run to the primary return, which creates a little vacuum.
Nice.
So it drains a little bit more efficiently, I guess.
And you can see the truck cylinders better on this side.
There we go.
And what kind of cases are those?
Just Delcron big bore cases. Look underneath. They have a big trap door down here and a lot of extra meat, so they're kind of ideal for bigger motors.
And what kind of frame do you think that is?
It's a Kevin Stark.
Oh, yeah.
Stark Manufacturing, made out of Saskatoon.
Yeah.
Because frame number here is still SM.
Yes.
Later they went to Triple E. Or was Triple E the first after Stark? I might have gone to Paco, I forget. This one should be still a Stark, being an SM there. Which is kind of neat, made in Saskatchewan years ago.
My first bike I started building at 17 was a Stark frame SMO 867, I think.
Oh, 867. This is 00863. Not too far away.
Wow.
There we go.
That was 30 years ago. And it was funny because a friend of mine had 2 of those frames. So I think they're sequential numbers. So
still kicking.
Yeah. So what do we got here? Because this is a pretty interesting bike.
Yeah, this is an 88-inch dual front head pan head that I've been working on for a little bit. And just this winter kind of stepped into gear. So we're ideally have it done for end of June. Is kind of the goal. And I'm going to bring it down to born free is the plan. So kind of still got to finish up the heads. I got lots of the oil routing done. Here they're external oiler heads were converted to. Added this little passageway here might help a little bit. Let's see. We got
So
some
originally, what year heads were those?
55s.
55s?
Yeah, so we can call the bike a 55.
All right. And those were both front heads?
Yeah, they're both front heads, so I cut in a new exhaust here. These have been modified as well, just to be the same diameter as the exhaust and held on with springs. Hopefully seals. We'll see. I'm not sure.
So what made you want to do that?
I've seen a couple just in magazines and thought it looked kind of cool. And that was kind of
Just the challenge
I
of
thought
it.
I could do it, I guess, and we'll see. It's not done yet. It's not running yet. So.
And
Crossed.
what kind of frame you got here?
This is just a V-twin straight leg frame.
So a replica frame?
What's up? Yeah, replica.
Yeah.
Yeah, replica big twin frames. Nothing too fancy. Cut all the junk off of it, and I've been cutting most of the welds off too, which I don't know if that's a good idea or not. But if it cracks, we'll know, and I'm sure we can fix it.
And the first thing that comes, that you see on this bike is those lower legs. Those are wild. Those are pretty unique, like very small diameter over the size of the tubes.
Yeah.
What can you tell me about those?
A guy named Luke in Kansas City, Pook's Parts, makes these. He machines a bushing in the top and a bushing in the bottom, just like the factory 41 mil sliders, and then makes them to accept your dampener. And he can make them in any. These are 4 inches over stock, and you can kind of make them to length for any diameter of fork. But yeah, it kind of makes it look like the fork tube's one big tube, kind of.
And then
More chrome the better on there.
those risers, did you make those?
Yeah, I made these out of 4140 chromoly, and they just kind of bolt from the top, and the factory risers bolt from the bottom there and bring it up a little bit.
And what's with this this throttle?
Yeah, it's a Magura quarter turn throttle. I guess these are made in Germany. I've never run one before, but
Pretty unique.
yeah, kind of like how it fits there. To me, they look a little better than the Harley ones, and I think they function a little better. But I always step down the bars to 7/8 to accept these.
Oh yeah.
Like the Tomaselli throttles too, being 7/8, but all the risers always 1 inch.
So what else you got going on with the motor that's, pretty unique? I mean, this side we've got the 2 exhausts where it should be a carburetor right here. What's going on with the carbs?
So this side of the motor, this is just a dummy case, so we can look at the actual cases later. There's going to be piston cooling jets on the inside fed via the head oiler from over here to a banjo bolt going there. And then these 2 oil feeds will come off of another banjo bolt here, which we can see on the bench. And then the carbs are on this side. Dual 38 millimeter Mikunis with these auxiliary, they call them like an auxiliary power jet. So it just allows you to adjust your main jet on the fly. You're gonna pull this off, and you can dial this as you could do it technically as you're riding. They're mainly used on like snowmobiles for big altitude changes.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how often you're going to be changing that on the fly, but I don't know. We'll see if it adds any benefit or not.
What size of carbs are those?
38 millimeter.
Wow. That the setup on this side is like that 1983 XLCR?
Yeah, XR750.
XR750,
Yeah, that's
yes.
kind of where some inspiration came with like these kind of filters. I like to try and make these curve back a little more, but I'm pretty happy. My leg can kind of go over the top, so I'm pretty happy with that.
That's cool. And
Yeah, we're working on a drawing to make these float bowls out of lucite.
oh yeah.
Similar to Electron. So hopefully they work. Hopefully they hold gas.
So you'll be able to see the fuel in there.
Yeah, really kind of a cool feature. There's a float bowl spacer here, and then this extends the depth of fuel that your main jet has access to, and as well feeds the auxiliary jet. So
that'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool to do on a linker, so you can see the to make the bowls for a linker.
Kind of cool. So yeah, we'll see how the lucite holds up to fuel.
Yeah.
And see if our drawing is accurate enough to machine something to. Fingers crossed.
And then you've got a clutch and shifter setup here. It's
Yeah,
kind of unique.
B&H mousetrap that to do a bit of fixing, and hopefully I can get to work. But I thought it'd look a little cooler than the factory Harley one. And they give a pretty snappy clutch response.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like running them.
A lot smaller than a factory Harley.
Smaller, yeah. So we'll send that to Chrome soon enough.
And you've drilled the
these
the heads?
these are the head returns. Because running the dual front heads, you can't use any of the factory oiling because the rear front head won't align. So these will drain into the case right about there. I'll drill and tap and put a fitting into the case.
Kind of like Indian Larry.
Exactly like his. He always ran external oil drains, so.
Yep. And what's going on with this back brake drum? You've got holes all through it.
Back wheel is a star hub, 2 star hubs cut in half and 2 brake side hubs welded together. And then this drum that's been kind of ruined, I guess, by me, will just act as a sprocket. And then there's a disc brake adapter on this side. So we'll bolt a rotor to here and mount the caliper somewhere in here. And we kind of got something that could have been simple done the hard way.
I mean, that must have been just tough having to weld that together. And
yeah, it took a bit, and I think it's kind of square. So we'll see how it goes down the road.
And I love the back wheel. The proportion's a little deceiving. What's going on with that?
It's a 15-inch front runner drag slick, or front runner drag tire. Meant to run in the front, so they're a little harder. So we'll see how it is on the highway. It says not for street use, so. But there's a bit of tread. Should be okay.
Oh yeah, just enough.
Yeah, it's not totally smooth.
And then it's a pretty unique sissy bar. What's going on with that?
There's just some DOM tube I kind of cut up. And then we're going to get a 3/4 inch piece of lucite in here with some red LEDs, and that hopefully works as a taillight to some capacity.
That's cool.
Fingers crossed.
So a real mixture of old technology, new technology, and everything in between.
Yeah, kind of. A lot of ideas that maybe shouldn't have been done, but I've been thinking about doing for a while, so.
That's awesome. It's going to look great. It is a unique bike, that's for sure. So
Well, thanks.
we're in your shop here. You are a welder. We got here's
That's me.
that's him. So kind of give us a little shop tour of what exactly you've got going on here.
Yeah, kind of it always looks like a mess. It's never clean. But I make a lot of custom handrail out of here. Primarily, I built this garage thinking I'd weld pipe out of here a bit. Like I do a lot of pressure welding, but yeah, mainly it's custom handrail, and seems to be a lot of motorcycle related machining. And then storage of every other thing that doesn't fit in the truck.
All kinds of interesting pieces everywhere, including some some other people. So here's your motor. I can see it's already you've been doing some polishing on it. Mm-hmm. What else are you going to be doing to this?
Okay, so the one kind of thing I'll try to wrap my head around quite a bit is I'd like to run piston cooling jets. So I have this jet here, and it was just the other night kind of figured out the original oil feed hole I was going to use, which is the factory top end oiling journal, won't work because it's going to fit, or it's going to hit the wrist pin. It's going to spray the wrist pin, get in the way, and probably be interference. So what we're going to do is drill under here into this case bolt passage, weld that shut, locate that hole right about here so that our jet can spray into this dome of the piston. So oil will coat the inside of the piston, the hottest part of the motor, and hopefully mist enough to cool it down, fingers crossed. I mean, you can't see inside the motor, so we're gonna know. Anyways, that's gonna thread into there. Once it's installed, I can put it in the mill, locate it, plane this, and drill about a 16th size hole at the proper angle, the angle I can kind of guess, essentially. So how that's going to be fed, though, we need oil to come essentially through here, down and out through there. So what we're going to do is drill and tap this for about a 3/8 banjo bolt. Go like that. Because these are S&S cases, we have 2 top-end oiling ports. So our piston cooling jets will be fed off of this to here. This will be drilled and tapped for about an 8mm banjo bolt and face to seal. Kind of sit like that. Oil line come here. That should, I might have to put an oil metering jet, maybe to reduce the amount of oil going to there. I'd have to play that by ear. Then this port will also be drilled and tapped for an 8mm banjo bolt, and a double banjo bolt will go here, and this will be our head oiling. You see the external oil lines will be fed via this port.
Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, in theory, it all works on the bench. So hopefully it all comes together.
And where did you come up with this idea to cool the pistons?
I've seen it done once before, like in Sweden. I don't know if that motor's ever run. And I haven't seen any pictures of it done since, from a few years ago. And then there's another method of it being done with 45s where they drill a hole in the flywheel. So when your piston is at its lowest point, there's a little squirt of oil directly from the flywheel to the bottom of the piston. That's how I believe Duramaxes do it. Formula One has their own models, or some Formula One cars, not the whole racing industry. But Milwaukee 8 Harleys have also integrated them as recent years. So hopefully it adds a little bit of cooling, considering I busted all the fins off these cylinders. So, I mean, you give and you take.
Yeah. So those are stock cylinders, and
These are stock, yeah, stock 74-inch.
and what
stock
you took all the fins off,
Yeah.
For aesthetics?
It's aesthetics, yeah. That's it. It does look kind of cool.
Oh, absolutely. But the fins are what cool it. So I guess that's...
These guys don't do a ton. Like everyone I've talked to, Indian Larry, his bikes all had the fins blown
Yeah,
off too.
yeah.
They're pretty streetable. There's no, and this is not a super high compression motor. It should be okay. And with our little piston cooling jets, it might just be great. So I guess, and then the other part of that jet, so we have oil coming through here. We still have an open hole, and we still need to bolt this case together. So this will get bored out, welded shut, and re-drilled with a blind tapped hole for a shorter bolt to go through here.
Just like a 45.
Yeah, and it should do the trick.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I was kind of wondering what that's going to be like.
Yeah, so it should hold oil, it should bolt together, and it should cool some pistons.
Lots of cool details.
Fingers crossed.
Lots of cool details.
Yeah, we're trying, I guess.
So I see up there, we got a frame hanging. What's the story on that?
That's just an aftermarket Podco Sportster frame that came out of Bismarck with a 66 Sportster motor from Lee Weidrich, who got it from a guy down the street who had that bike as a chopper in the 70s, took it apart to rebuild the 66 engine that's in the house now. So he has a couple of pictures of him in the 70s with that bike as it was. I traded him for that project, and the rest is kind of on the wall and all over the garage. So the plan is to put it back together as he had it. And I mean, with any luck, we'll ride it down to Bismarck, and I guess we'll go show him.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What's the make of that frame? That's a pretty...
I think of Podco.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I've seen Podco similar to that, so I would think.
It's interesting, the, kind of square tubing. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, kind of. It's not overly fancy.
Yeah. The top motor mount is, a little bit more advanced than we've seen in the on other frames at least.
Yeah, I know they I've seen this exact frame before. They must have mass produced and they must do the trick.
Cool. So what else you got? What else you got for bikes?
Well, I've got a 68 shovel head in the house, an 81 Sturgis, and an 05 KLR. Just keep it well rounded.
You want to take us in and show us those two bikes?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome. Okay. So the blue bike, that was the one you had at the show last year, right?
Yeah, I did it outside. It was on the poster, so I guess we better have it there. Yeah, this is a 68 shovel head I built in 2016. It's kind of been all over. Ridden across BC a couple times, and Bismarck, and it's been into Ontario and down to California, and kind of all over the place with me. Sunshine Coast and back, and all over Montana. I guess I'm trying to think, but yeah, it's always been really good to me, and kind of been my go-to bike for almost 10 years now.
What's some of the features on here? Because I can see quite a few very unique pieces on there.
Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, this was a wishbone, early 50s wishbone frame that I deraked to 25 degrees. And then this is a VL fork with a knucklehead front leg and VL springs, which gives it, I mean, it doesn't perform super well, but it gives it that extra
Length, a little bit of length,
just a little bit more lift. It's super stiff. But I don't know, it makes the bike kind of sit good. I painted this in my parents' garage, actually, with a couple shades of blue candy. And there's the candy's been separating over time, but it gives it a bit of age.
Yeah.
Had some fun with the molding and made this kind of thing. And
kind of similar to the bike you're building outside
yeah,
the
similar,
garage.
a little bit of flair on it. And yeah, this bike's been really good to me and really fun. It's been home in the back of a truck before too, but it's been fixed on the side of the road as needed.
It looks great.
Yeah, thank you.
So hand shift.
Yeah, it's hand shift and foot clutch. For here, these are passenger pegs, aren't exactly well liked, but they do the trick. They're all Flanders risers.
So those are originally handlebar risers.
Yeah, I needed them in a pinch one afternoon, and on they went, and they didn't come off. And I mean, there's a big boot mark here from a melted sole. They do work.
And what size is this?
84 inch.
84.
Standard bore with 4.5-inch S&S flywheels and a Line Weber L3S cam, S&S heads, and that kind of thing. So it moves pretty good.
Awesome.
A reasonable amount.
And you've had this for 10 years.
2015 was its first rendition before the engine was rebuilt. It was in a different frame, a whole different tin set. Actually, it was a completely different bike. The only thing that remains is the drivetrain. Its very first rendition was 2015. So I guess that put it at about 10 years.
And just notice you got a Sportster motor back here.
Yeah,
so is this the one for that frame that we just talked
Yeah,
about?
that's the 66 that eventually will go in that frame when the time is right.
That looks great.
Yeah, it's good motor. Is rebuilt apparently 20 years ago, and kind of matching cases and all nice and chromed up.
I love the primaries on these and stuff. They're just
the tin primary.
Yeah,
So
pretty timeless 60s.
Yeah, it's always good looking. So I'm excited to put that one together. Hopefully soon. I can't promise.
And what's that? That looks like original paint.
Yeah, original. Or actually, this one was repainted.
Oh, really?
Now that you mention it, I let the cat out of the bag. I'm the third owner of this one. This is 81 Sturgis. That was originally. It was brought up from Sturgis by the owner of the Harley dealer, and then sold to the guy I bought it from, who took really, really good care of it. The motor was built or rebuilt by a guy named Dan Zora, maybe about 10 or 15 years ago. So they put S&S heads on it, and I think Andrew PB Cam, I forget now, but he put the previous owner Mo put the money into the motor. So this thing's been really solid. I've ridden this. Last spring I rode it to Calgary and back, and it's been kind of all over, trouble free, and really strong running bike.
Yeah, those are just, very nice bikes of that era. They only made them for 2 years, and then they came back in '91 with an Evo. But you don't see them too often. And I mean, you got the red striped rims and the Hamcan air cleaner, and that's original seat too.
Yeah, that's the original seat.
Yeah,
you put a Thunder header on it.
Yeah,
which is it performs so well. It's such a good exhaust.
And a lot of people, nowadays, everyone is blacking out their bikes.
Yeah,
this was the original.
This is the first one. Yeah.
The primary cover, everything was blacked out. So it's really cool to see a bike like this. Give a lot of people inspiration nowadays that they didn't know.
Yeah, they did a good job.
Yeah,
Patrick kind of nailed it on this one. It's one of my favorite bikes to ride. Yeah, I really like it.
Awesome.
And it came for sale. I mean, it's one of those I couldn't pass up.
Yeah,
had to have it.
I know what that's like.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So I just want to thank Elias for the opportunity to come out, see what he's working on, see that raffle bike that he built, see some of his other bikes he's got. It's always a pleasure seeing Elias. Can't thank him enough. Come on, check out that Deep Freeze show. If you didn't make it this year, come out next year. I'm sure he's going to be putting it on another year after this. So again, thanks again, Elias.
Yeah, thank you.
And I'm Keith. This is Save the Rust. This is who we are. This is what we do. Have a great day.